Hey everyone, it's Alexa. Welcome to Grace and Cherish. Today, it's a new day. It is a new day. Today is seed day. I'm gonna talk about all of the different things that we plan on growing in our garden for the spring and summer. I'm really excited. Also, this table that I'm sitting at is full of seeds. Some are from last year, and then some are new this year, and I actually don't even have all of the ones that we ordered. Now, with seeds for us, last year was our first time really growing anything. I've grown tomatoes in a small pot when we lived in Portland, Oregon, but I didn't really garden much there, which I laugh at now because in Portland you can just like toss seeds and things will grow. It's just a wonderful place to grow food, flowers, just plants in general. But I didn't really do it much there. Now in Georgia, we ended up buying 10 acres and part of it's part responsibility. I feel like we have this much land, we need to know how to grow our own food. But then there were also some issues that came up with some health diagnoses that for one of our children that likely could impact two of our other children. We just aren't sure yet. We can't do testing on them until they're a little older. So for right now, we just felt like, hey, we have this land, we need to do this for our own kids. And then on top of that, we bought Philo, which is the name of our property. It's 10 acres. We're about 30 minutes outside the city, outside of Atlanta, Georgia. And we bought it because we wanted to have a place where we could welcome other people to come retreat, be in nature, just kind of get away. Like there's many things that we hope to do at this property. But being a beautiful place and a hospitable place is really important to us. And one thing that you don't always have to be hospitable, but is always a plus is food. And so we would love to be able to grow food that we can then use to serve people in our community, people who come onto our property, things like that. So with that, let's get into the seeds. Now, last year we grew cucumbers and zucchinis, which were fantastic. They grew super well. So we're gonna continue to do that. I'm actually going to, let me see right here. So these are two that we used last year. This is a pickling, I'll show you, a pickling cucumber. And we didn't actually pickle anything. I don't even really like pickles that much. I mean, they're fine, but I like the sweet ones, to be honest. But one of my daughters does like pickles, so I figured that could be a fun thing just to try and to learn. So we have the pickling cucumbers. We have this one, which is one that we grew last year, and it was great. So I figured if it was good then, just keep it going. So I'm gonna put the seeds back in my trusty little bag. So cucumbers are a big one. And then I actually ordered two other kinds from MI Gardener. And what I'm going to do we did not do last year is I want to trellis them. So I'm getting some cattle panels that we're going to put in our garden, and then I'm gonna vertically grow the cucumbers. So I learned from Jess over at Roots and Refuge Farm. She talked about how you could do like two, different varieties of cucumbers on one side and then two different ones on the other, which is what I have. I have 4 different varieties. So I'm gonna use those to grow on the trellis. The other things that I'm gonna be growing on the trellis are, some of them I don't have here yet, but are gonna be beans. So beans that climb. I've ordered several different varieties. I'm blanking on, some of them I haven't received yet, but they are long beans. They're, one of them's a Kentucky something. I can't remember the name of it. Actually, I have my computer, I can look it up. But it's a yellow green bean, which I'm excited about. And then there's another one that is a purple one. So for those green beans, the variety is Bean Royal Burgundy and then Bean Kentucky Yellow. So those are also gonna be grown on our trellis. And so I'm excited about that because then I can't wait to see them just hanging down, and those ones we definitely are gonna be able to preserve. So I'm excited about that. I've never done food preservation, but we're gonna try it because again, we're trying to learn this thing. Like most of us, we're just going out there and seeing what you can do. So I've grown arugula that I'm gonna do again. I like making a pesto out of this. We had a bunch of arugula once. I grew it for the first time this year, and we had a bunch of it, and I was like, what can you do with extra arugula? And I saw some pesto recipes, so now we love it. And when my family was in town visiting from various parts of the US, I was like, let me go run outside and make some arugula, or pick some arugula and make pesto. And it was fun. It was really neat to be able to do that. So I'm excited. I want to grow more of that. I like arugula a lot. And then of course in salads and things. And then something I have not tried to grow, but I am gonna try this year because you can freeze it, and it's just delicious, is I have these 2 varieties of broccoli. I am going to try to grow that. I had a friend tell me who also grows in our area, she's like, don't do it. I'm never able to do it. You shouldn't do it. And she's more experienced than me. But I'm like, again, I have all this land. I feel like I have to at least try and see what I can do. So broccoli and cauliflower were two that I want to try this year, even though my friends like, don't do it. We have lots of carrots that we're gonna do. We're gonna definitely make sure that we are growing a lot of carrots, because again, that's something my kids eat a lot, we love. It's a staple in our house. And so I have regular, scarlet, carrot, scarlet, nantis. I don't know how you say it, but we have those ones. And then I'm also getting a purple variety, which is said to have more antioxidants and things in it and stuff. So I'm excited to try that one out. So we have our carrots, cauliflower, broccoli, let me see what else. Zucchini, that grew really well last year and we loved grilling it. So when we would have parties here and stuff, we would just grill it. So I'm gonna do this one. It grew really well. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And then spinach is another one. I grew lettuce successfully last year. I don't know if that's shown up, but I realized I really struggle with just the bugs and things that would get on them. So even though stuff you buy in the store has bugs all over it too, I know that, but it's just, I shouldn't say all over it, but you know what I mean? They're gonna get in there. So I'm learning, one of the things I wanna get better at is being able to pick lettuce, clean it properly, and also just the maintenance beforehand, really seeing what's there. And I'm studying a lot about companion planting, because that is also really helpful, obviously, with pests and things like that. So this year, I'm really trying to do a mix of planting things that that work well together, and then also adding in flowers and other herbs and things that can help to push pests away. So for example, I have a lot of marigold. One, I think they're pretty, but also just they are a workhorse in the garden, and they do a lot to help deter pests and other things. I'm also growing different varieties of nasturtiums, because they too are beautiful and also serve the garden well. So I have these ones, and then I'm pretty sure, if I'm looking at my email, I have some other ones that are coming in too, but I plan on planting those. I want to grow asparagus, which I learned is a perennial. I did not realize that. So I'm excited to plant that and give it its own space, and then, see what happens in the years to come. Let's see, I've got lots of herbs. DollarSeed.com is where I got a lot of my items, because a friend told me, she's like, hey, you can order there and it's cheap. And I was just starting out last year, so I was like, great, it's $1 a packet. So I ordered from them. I did not try any herbs from them last year. This year I am, again, to help with companion planting, to help with getting, dispelling pests, and then I get herbs. So it's a win all around. Let's see. Something else that my family, we love, is watermelon. So we have watermelon Klondike and watermelon Crimson Sweet. We'll definitely be growing watermelon. We did it last year and it went well, so we're gonna do it again this year. And as I was researching, and I used the Farmer's Almanac, they actually have, I use their free trial to lay out my garden bed. So this is mostly what my garden will look like. I have 2 cut flower garden beds that are gonna go here. But in general, that's what this looks like. This is a kid garden area, so my kids can just do whatever they want there. But one of the things that they help you learn when you're putting things together is what goes well with what for your companion planting. So watermelons and bush beans. So these right here, your non-climbing. So I'll have a lot of climbing beans, but then these ones will be your bush variety. Those are what I'm gonna grow with the watermelon. And then next to those, I wanna have strawberries. And that's probably the only thing I won't start from seed, are the strawberries. That's just one, I'm probably just not gonna do it. I'm biting off a lot more than I can chew right now. And I figured that's just one I might have to say no to. As far as starting from seed, I feel more intimidated by it for some reason. But so anyway, I'm gonna go, there's an event in Atlanta coming up in a couple weeks that talks about pruning fruit trees, and we have a couple apple trees that we inherited when we bought the property, and mostly they seem dead, so we're trying to figure out how can we revive them. So we're gonna go to that, but they're also selling strawberry plants and things. So I'm gonna get some strawberry plants there. Those grow well with bush beans, and then also, if I remember right, yeah, nasturtiums are also great for those too. So I'm gonna put all that together. The other thing I'm growing together is corn. My husband really wanted to try corn this year, so we're gonna do some corn. And then pumpkins, which was like big on my list. I really, really wanted to do pumpkins. Last year, I didn't have enough space for them. I learned that you need, from what I read anyway, was that you want about a 5x5 area for like one watermelon. And then pumpkins, I think we're about the same, but what I have wasn't that. I was trying to plant too many in one spot, and so then nothing really works. So this year, learned my lesson. I have a whole section just for corn and pumpkins to go together. And then I'm gonna also plant some gourds, because I love gourds. I think fall's my favorite season, so I get very excited about all of that and just having those things. But I mean, when you go to the store or somewhere and you have to buy them, they can get expensive. So I figured, why not grow my own? So gonna try that. Let's see. We got our beans. Okay, 2 things that are a must in the Mason family, my family garden, are tomatoes, because my kids pop these, well, my girls pop these like grapes. They love tomatoes. And then peppers. Peppers. So we're gonna have lots of those. I've ordered so many different varieties. I have your Pepper California Wondersuite from Dollar Seed, but then I also have some from M.I. Gardner, and they look beautiful. One's a coral bell pepper, and then one's a purple bell pepper. So those haven't come in yet. I'm gonna practice succession planting. I'm gonna try that. So I'm gonna start these seeds tomorrow, today or tomorrow, the peppers, because we're now in February. We are in the timeline for being able to start our pepper seeds. So I'm gonna do those, and then the other ones, when they come in, I will start those as seeds too. Okay, so that I think is all of the food that we're gonna grow. We talked about asparagus, zucchini, spinach, we talked about all those things. Oh, onions. Onions are the last. We will definitely do onions. I have 2 varieties that I'm gonna try this year. So wanna do that, and then garlic. Garlic is another one, that I want to try, which we've never done, but I realized I don't actually even have garlic seeds, so we'll see. I'll have to get that. But the other thing that we're gonna do, now I talked about Philo and how important it is to me and my family, like why we bought this property was so that we could create a beautiful and hospitable place. And this place is beautiful already. Like if you haven't seen the property tours, you can go look, it's beautiful. What we wanna do is add to that, and I am really fascinated by flowers. I was not necessarily growing up that fascinated by them, but now I can't. I watched a documentary by Floret Farms out in Washington, and it just stuck. So I've really loved the idea of having a garden where I could cut, my own flowers. So I'm looking into doing that, growing a cut flower garden, also doing a little wildflower meadow next to where the vegetable garden is, so that we can add in, just great flowers for pollinators to kind of help the ecosystem. It'll help the garden, it'll help them, I want to do what I can to serve in creation to help steward it well. So those are some of the things that we're gonna be doing. I'm excited to try out baby's breath, which is also perennial, I learned. And I wanna do drying flowers. I really love the idea of being able to dry flowers. So baby's breath, we've got cone flower. I've got a couple varieties of cone flower. We have some of these mixes that I'm just gonna, again, 10 acres. I'm just gonna toss these things around in different areas. Some will be more planned, like the cut flower gardens will be planned. The meadow, it's gonna be in one area. But then there are other parts of the property I'm just gonna put these out there and see what works. So corn flower, I have cone flower and corn flower. Let's see, we have, that was blue, this is purple cone flower. We have perennial lupine. All right, we got black-eyed Susan. I have a lot of black-eyed Susan. I've got a wildflower cut mix here. Lots of wildflower mixes, more beneficial insectary mixes. Zinnias. My friend actually cut off the heads of some of her zinnias from last year and gave those to me. So I have some in our basement that I've been storing, and then I have several different varieties of zinnias here too. And then I showed you the nasturtiums, the marigolds. We've got amaranthus, we've got catchfly, we've got forget-me-not mix. And then I also ordered some asters for, particularly I want to be able to do drying with those, cut flowers and drying. I got red spike amaranth, which I'm very excited about. That one hasn't come in. I wish I had a picture. Maybe I can put one in here. But it's beautiful. And so I'm really excited to dry that one as well. We've got lavender, which obviously is a multiple of things, but I'm excited to add some color through that. And then I also have this one. Let me see what else. And then sunflowers. So I have a few varieties of sunflowers that I grew last year that are beautiful. I've got the Maximilian, I got the dwarf sunspot. But then I also ordered the teddy bear sunflower, and then I got the velvet queen sunflower, and it is gorgeous. So I'm really excited to grow those. And again, my plan is to have some in our cut flower garden, and then we have our meadow, but then just dispersed around our property. So I'm really excited. Oh, we have some wildflower butterfly mixes. So I have this, which some of these are perennials, and then like this one is all annual. So I'm looking forward to it. Here's some straw flower. This is another good one to do dried flowers with. So gonna test my hand at it. And then I have marigold crackerjack, but then I also have this Mexican mint. I can't remember if I showed that. So I'm excited to try out this one too. But yeah, man, and then there's more. But wait, there's more. There's just a lot. Okay, yeah, bee feed flower mix, more catchfly, foxglove, more wildflower mixes. So there's a lot of flowers there. This is one where I'm like, you know what? Just go test and see. I just really feel like people don't have a bad day when they're sitting amongst flowers, you know? Like most people aren't angry when they're sitting around flowers and seeing bees buzzing and pollinating and butterflies coming. And so I really am just passionate about how beauty can point to hope. To me, that's just something I feel like beauty does for us, even though beauty, you know, what it means to you might be different than what it means to me. But in general, I feel like when we're in nature and we're seeing what naturally is coming from the ground, like we're attracted to that, even if we don't grow. Like I didn't grow stuff, but I love flowers. I always thought they were pretty. I couldn't have told you what their names were, but I valued them. I value food. I value those things, even though I didn't know how to make them or grow them myself. And so now I'm excited to learn and be in touch with nature and creation in that way. But I'm excited to invite people into it because that's really one of the big things with Philo. It's just, I wanted to create a place that was easy for people to access and to like partake. Not everyone is able to grow in different ways in their homes. I mean, I do think it is way more possible than we think, and there's so many people out there teaching others how to do it. If you're in an apartment or have a small backyard, I love Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I love watching her videos. She actually was really inspiring and encouraging to me, even though I'm not an urban homestead, but watching her, she taught me a lot, but then also it just gave me this encouragement and like, let's go, like you can do this. And so if you are in an urban area and want to grow, you should check her out because she's Yellow Door Urban Homestead. She's got amazing information and is really helpful and super laid back. But anyway, there's so many opportunities to grow if it's something you want. But I also recognize that not everyone has that ability, the time, you know, there are people who are working 2-3 jobs, they've got kids that they're trying to take care of and help in other ways. And, you know, and so I really am passionate about what can I do? I do have the ability and the access and the time. So I want to do what I can to do it well and then invite people into it to enjoy. So it feels like a lot, even looking at all of these seeds on this table. It's a lot, but man, what opportunity. So I hope that you, like if you are getting seeds, if you are planning out a garden, whatever it is, like share about that in the comments. I would love to hear about it. I'm all about doing things in community. That's why I started this page, because my husband and I were like, you know what, we're trying to make something here that we want to share. And we want to do it with others. I've been so encouraged by all the different people who are doing homesteads, which were kind of homestead, but not fully. Philo is a mix of that. And so I love getting to share that and enjoy it with other people. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, but most importantly, comment so that I would love to hear where you're growing, what you're growing, like what, you know, where are you at, wherever you're growing, what are you growing? And I am not gonna pretend like I know all of what I'm doing. So if you got tips, I'm all for it, and I'll share what I've been learning too. One thing I will say that's been really helpful, let me move my computer. So for planning, because with all of these seeds I did, and then, you know, all these seeds, 4 kids, I have an interior design business I do on the side, and then, you know, my husband works full time as an engineer. We got a lot going on, so I have to be organized. So something that's been helpful is blank notebooks. I love it for interior design because it just helps me. It's like blank slate, write things. But really I do this in everything in life. I like to start with a blank piece of paper. And so that's where I kind of started forming out how I would draw out our garden layout. But then I have loved Clever Fox. This has been a great planner. I've never used it before, but I was doing a lot of research, found it online, and it's a life planner, but I use it for videos that I'm sharing here to help me stay organized, and then interior design, and what is the other thing I use it for? Interior design, this, and then we, you know, host different events and things here for Philo, so, and whatnot, so I put that, I try to keep all of that in here, and it's really helpful to, I mean, it has things like mind map, it has, you can put 3-month goals and you do a check-in after each quarter, which I like, and then each month is like this, it's, you know, big, I don't know if that's clear. Yeah, the months, and then the weekdays is what I really like about it. Let me give a sample. So I like this, again, I use it specifically for my interior design business, and then the garden here, and the videos and event stuff that we do. So this just helps me stay organized in those areas, but you can use it however you want. It has a life balance to-do list. It has the week's wins, lessons learned, all of that. So I'm really trying to keep a record of these things. I think that act of remembering is so important, and it can be so encouraging, because I could look at some of this and be like, wow, what have you done? But then I realize I'm like, wait, you did this, this, and this, and organized all these things, you know, where you ordered your seeds, then you got your seeds started. That's a win. We need to celebrate those things in life. There's a lot to be upset about and frustrated by, and so many hard things in life. So we need to remember the things that we have done, even if it's small, and celebrate it. So that has been really helpful for me, and I like that planner a lot. And then, what is it? This book has been great. If you're not in the Southeast, then this doesn't matter to you. But I got this as a birthday present from a friend, and it's been teaching me a lot about the Southeast. So, Vegetable Gardening in the Southeast by Ira Wallace. I highly recommend it. I'm not all the way through it, but she breaks things down so well, so well. So, this has been great. Then, I am a no-dig gardening fan. And this guy right here, never knew I'd become such good friends with a man in the UK, but I am. Not really, we don't know each other, but I learn a lot from him. This no-dig gardening has been fantastic. That's the method that we're doing pretty much exclusively, and I've really, really loved it in learning from him. So that book's really helpful, and his YouTube page is fantastic, and most people know him. I did not know him until a couple months ago, but he's great. Year in Flowers, and I actually have another one. This is the lady, Erin Florette, or not Erin Florette, I don't know, her last name's not Florette. Florette Farms is her farm, but she is in Washington, and she has another book that is actually, I ordered and is coming today, like any minute. Actually, I just see, no joke, I see a UPS truck right there, so I bet you that my order is on it. But this has been really helpful in learning about flowers, growing them, all of that. The book I ordered is specifically about cut flowers and growing them and things. So that's what I'm gonna use to help me as I finish planning things out and start getting ready to plant. And then that same lady who wrote those books, she shared about this on one of her blogs. And so I decided to buy it. This guy, John Jevons, I hope I said his name right, How to Grow More Vegetables than you ever thought possible on less land with less water than you can imagine. So this book talks about gardening in a grid style, which Erin from Florette Farms talked about that in regards to her flower farm. So I'm taking that model and gonna apply it to the flowers. With food and the vegetables, I still have a bit more research I wanna do to like understand that process a little bit more, but with the flowers, it felt very intuitive to me. And I was like, got it, I'm gonna try this. But it's neat, it's interesting. It's talking about, instead of planting in rows, planting in a grid. And so she talks about, you know, certain flowers that do really well with 9x9 spacing versus 12x12 versus 18x18 and all of that. So anyway, that's something that I'm gonna be testing out and kind of getting a feel for what works and what doesn't here. But this book has been, I mean, this one, of all the books, this one has, I had to like go back and read it a few times, some of the pages, because there's a lot of information. You probably can't read that, but there's a lot of information and good information. Just starting out, it's also kind of overwhelming. It would probably have stopped me from starting if I wasn't already as deep in it as I am, but there is a lot of good information there. So if you like that, learning and geeking out on that, I think How to Grow More Vegetables by John Jevons is a good one. So, all right, I think that's it for today. I need to get to starting some seeds. I wanna do these bell peppers right. So I'm gonna get going on that. Thank you for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, just Grace and Cherish, the name of it came from that, my prayer for you whenever you watch any of these videos or just in anything in your life. I pray that you know God's grace and that you cherish every moment with him. See you next time.